I'm so glad I'm here. So glad I'm here. So glad I'm here every day. So glad I'm here. You know, I'm so glad I'm here. I'm so glad I'm here every day. I'm gonna sing while I'm here. Sing while I'm here. Sing while I'm here every day. Sing while I'm here. Gonna sing while I'm here. Sing while I'm here every day. You know, joy brought me here. Joy brought me here. Joy brought me here. Here today.
Hello, I'm Margi Coggins. I'm the director of the practice. I became a midwife when I was a friend's labor coach when we were both in graduate school for completely different topics. I got to experience what a very long labor was like, and I was hooked. Most of us came into midwifery after doing other kind of careers for a while. The way you can remember me is that I'm Margi the midwife. You can also remember me as the person who used to study entomology, the study of bugs, and that's how I met my friend who was my inspiration to become a midwife. I have 3 girls that were all born into the hands of midwives, and that were all born in different time zones and keep me busy with their school and playing. When I have time, I work on a farm in Western Massachusetts.
And I started my career.
Hi, my name is Julia Dickinson.
Be here. I believe I came into midwifery because my mom is an artist and my dad's a doctor, and I feel like those came perfectly together to make a midwife. I am passionate about serving a diverse clientele. I speak Spanish, and in my spare time when I'm not working, I'm in a band called Hot Molasses, and it's nice to have a creative outlook. I have 1 son, and we have a cat, and I'm very passionate about this career and so happy that I found it, and really look forward to taking care of all of you. I'm also associate director of the practice, so I've been working on lots of different projects, just trying to improve quality of care for everyone who's giving birth at our hospital.
My name is Tamara Jessiman. I have been a nurse midwife since 1999, and I've been here at Mount Auburn since 2006. So some people talk about having forever homes and forever partners. I think of Mount Auburn as my forever job. I plan on dying at Mount Auburn, not literally. I work out of the Practice for Women in Fresh Pond and the Arlington office, and I also fill in sometimes at Charles River and Harvard University offices. I have 2 kids, a 19-year-old daughter who's currently home from college, and a 15-year-old son. They were both born into the hands of midwives, and let's see, usually we ask for sort of a notable fact about us, and I would say that I'm the quilt maker in the group. So if anybody is a quilter, come see me, we can compare fabric.
Hello, my name is Amanda Abbott. I have been a midwife since 2012 and with Midwives at Mount Auburn since 2014, shortly after my first was born. I have 2 children, both born into the hands of midwives. The first was a water birth, and my second with a little aid from nitrous at Mount Auburn Hospital, and the midwives there, and the lovely nurses. A little bit about me. I grew up near Boston, and I then moved to New York City, went to school there, lived there for several years, and started, my first job was investigating allegations of police misconduct in New York City. And it got me really interested in social justice. And from there I went into a getting a master's in social work and public health. And I drew me into working in reproductive health internationally. I traveled throughout Africa, working on mainly accessibility and access and expanding services for contraception in sub-Saharan Africa. I met my husband, my Colombian husband, in Ghana, and we have now settled back in the Boston area, close to my family, and I love my work. And so I mainly work at the Charles River Community Health Centers in Waltham and Brighton.
I'm Tali Averbuch, and I have been a midwife for 10 years, and I've been with this group for about 5 years. Before I came here, I was working at a small private practice in Lesley with a lot of women who wanted low intervention and high touch and high tension prenatal care and labor and delivery care. So I'm very comfortable doing that. And one of the things that I really like to do is hang out with my family. I have a 4-year-old girl, and I have a baby boy who's almost 4 months old, who was born here at Mount Auburn. And I saw the midwives for my care, and it was fantastic. What brought me to midwifery is that I was working in public health research at Boston Medical Center, and I started to notice that the better you get at public health research, the further you get from patients. And it was important work. It's important to do that research, but it was also kind of boring and kind of unsatisfying. And I'd always wanted to be a professional feminist, and I wanted a job that wasn't boring. And so midwifery was good for both things. I feel like I work with women and for women every day, and that's a privilege and an honor, and it's definitely what I want to do with my life. So it worked out really well. A fun fact about me is that I have checked in our little roster, and I have the smallest hands of everyone in the OB department. My glove size is the smallest. So I think clearly I was destined to do this job, and I look forward to working with you.
Hi, I'm Jema. I'm one of the midwives in Mount Auburn. Just a little bit about myself. I am originally from Ohio, and then I went to college in Chicago, and then I worked in public health for several years. For finding midwifery, I actually served as a Peace Corps volunteer in Mozambique, which is where I saw a birth for the first time. I was working on a community-based HIV program there, and to work with midwives, and then decided I really wanted to work with women directly, and then started my 5-year journey to becoming a midwife. I did my training at Columbia University in New York City, and part of it on the Navajo reservation in New Mexico as well. I've been a midwife since 2016. I just joined this wonderful practice about 6 months ago now. Before this, I was working at a busy hospital practice in Rochester, New York. And I'm really happy to be here. It's a really wonderful group.
Hi, I'm Ariela Borkan. I'm a nurse midwife. I work at the Atrius Health Harvard Vanguard office in Somerville, and my co-midwife is Lucia Ma, who works in Cambridge, and I catch along with the midwives of Mount Auburn, which has been a really wonderful experience. Prior to working here, I worked at a birth center outside of Philly, and also trained in both home birth and busy hospital practices, and worked as a full spectrum doula and as a nurse as well. I grew up with a mother who was a dairy worker, so I went to lots of cow births as a child, and that's where I first realized how incredible birth can be, and now take a little bit more of a reproductive justice approach and really believe in the model that is practiced here.
Hi everyone, my name is Kate Damon. I became a midwife in 2013. And what drew me to midwifery was the emphasis on education. I worked in education before, and I really believe that the patient is part of the decision-making process. And so I really enjoy doing patient education, and that can take all sorts of forms, but it means making sure all of your questions are answered, and that we're positioning you for success for each piece of pregnancy and labor and birth. And I love working at Mount Auburn because I can trust my colleagues to also do the same. Both of our first 2 children were born at Mount Auburn, and we're expecting a third who will also be born at Mount Auburn for all of those reasons as well. We look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.
My name is Lila Foreman. I've been with the practice for 12 years almost. I started right out of midwifery school. I think what brought me to midwifery was when I was 3 years old and I got to watch my sister be born. She was born at home. I watched the whole thing. I was fascinated. I learned all about it before it happened. And then as soon as she came out, the first thing I said was, "Where's the placenta?" And then after that, when we were in the grocery store for the next couple of years, I would point out to everybody that I could, "This is my baby sister. She came out of my mommy's vagina. She had vernix all over her." My mother was very embarrassed. But I think that was the beginning of my love of midwifery and my love of birth. So fast forward, and I did a bachelor's degree in French literature, taught French for a while, did a lot of traveling with my family, a lot of photography, which I'm still very interested in, and travel, which I have less time for now. And then was a doula for a couple of years and went to midwifery school. I live in Arlington. I own a house with my husband. We have 2 boys, both born into the hands of midwives, both water births. The little guy just turned 5, and my older son is 7. And they're happy kids. So not much extra time for other things these days, but when I do have time, I like spinning and gardening recently and some running. So that's me.
Hi, my name is Lucia Ma. I work at Atrius Health or Harvard Vanguard in Cambridge. I have been a midwife for more than 2 decades, therefore I have a lot of experience. I work in a tertiary center as a new midwife, and I later worked in private practice and also at a birth center. And right now I'm working alongside this wonderful group of midwives at Mount Auburn. Other than work, I love hiking and I love reading books and also listening to music. And I absolutely love to travel as well. A fun fact about myself, I am a Tai Chi practitioner. I've been practicing Tai Chi for many, many years. Probably not as long as being a midwife, but it's been quite some time. And I am also a Tai Chi teacher. If anybody is interested in talking about it, feel free to find me and we can talk about it. Otherwise, I look forward to taking care of you when the time comes. Thank you.
I'm Megan MacInnes. I'm a nurse midwife here at Mount Auburn Hospital. I have been a midwife since 1984. I came to Mount Auburn around 1991. I've done birth in a variety of different settings, some at home, some in birth centers, some in hospitals. I've been in the Boston metro area, I would say, since 1988. And I actually am one of the midwives that brought water birth to Mount Auburn and hypnobirthing, and have done a lot of work with doulas. And I also started the alternative insemination program at the Arlington office. I was inspired to get into midwifery from my mother, who was a nurse. And as a child, I would, we lived in the Bahamas at the time, and she would help other women in neighboring towns have their babies, even though she wasn't officially a midwife. And I would play around outside with the other kids while they were birthing. I have loved midwifery since getting into it back at the Lincoln Hospital in the South Bronx. At home, I'm a proud mother of 5 children. 3 have already grown. My youngest is in high school. And I have 3 big grandbabies and another one on the way. So I hope to meet you sometime down the road. I would love to be present at one of your births.
Hello, my name is Julie Mann, and I'm a midwife with the practice. I work mainly in triage and labor and birth, and I've been a midwife for over 16 years. I decided I wanted to be a midwife after spending time in the Peace Corps in West Africa and seeing women unnecessarily die of childbirth, and felt like I needed to be part of this solution. I needed to address this. And so became a midwife and worked globally in maternal health, mainly in Haiti, and then started having children of my own and felt like I needed to be more local. And so I've been with this practice for the past 16 years on and off. I had 2 of my children here, and then life took me for a little while out to live and work on the Navajo reservation in New Mexico, and I had my 3rd child there. I have 3 children, 3 boys that keep me really busy, and I love running and yoga and traveling and camping, and I also still have a big passion for maternal global health, and I'm currently pursuing my master's in public health at Johns Hopkins University, and I'm also part of an organization called Seed Global Health that helps to bolster the midwifery education and the midwifery workforce in sub-Saharan Africa. And so I'm busy, and I love it all, and I think it just all comes from my passion of really supporting women and their families during this amazing time in their lives.
Hi, I'm Amanda Breed McSweeney, and I am a certified nurse midwife at Mount Auburn. I've been doing this for 18 years. The last 10 have been at Mount Auburn. I work at the Women's Healthcare in Waltham office, which is right on the border of Waltham, Watertown, and Belmont. I like to lead group prenatal care after this pandemic passes. I'll get back to that. And I'm a big fan and advocate of water birth. You can remember me because I am the presidential midwife. My mother's father's mother's mother was the midwife that caught Abraham Lincoln in that log cabin that we always hear about. And she was only 18. Her own mother was teaching her to become a midwife, but she missed the birth. Abraham Lincoln was a second baby, so he came pretty fast. So my great-great-great-great-grandmother had to catch him before her mother could get there. So if you are interested in having a president for a child, then hopefully I'll catch your baby.
Hi there, I'm Lesley Mosley, one of the midwives. I have been a midwife for almost 20 years. I have 3 kids, all born with midwives. I grew up in Indiana and never heard of a midwife. I moved to Colorado to go to college and was working as an intern in the public health department and met my first midwife. She was awesome. She connected me with a young mom from Mexico. I speak Spanish and became her doula and support person. I attended her birth and it changed my life. I still have the hospital band from that birth. I then committed to going to midwifery school, and I went to Yale University School of Nursing. I worked in the area in New Haven under a National Health Service Corps scholarship, then moved to Boston, worked at Brigham and Women's Hospital, and then to Mount Auburn Hospital, where I've been for about 9 years. I love Mount Auburn. I have a great group of colleagues. I think we all work very hard to provide a personalized birth experience within the hospital setting. Hope to see you soon.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny Nelson. I joined the Midwives at Mount Auburn in February of 2019 after finishing my training at The Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio. I see patients for prenatal, gynecologic, and contraceptive care at the Center for Women and Fresh Pond offices. Before becoming a midwife, I studied medical anthropology, nutrition, and philosophy. I then worked in research and reproductive public health and also spent time as a birth and postpartum doula before realizing that midwifery was the perfect synthesis of everything that I was interested in. And so here I am. Outside of my life at Mount Auburn Hospital, I like to practice yoga and meditation and bake things in the kitchen, be outside, listen to podcasts, all of those fun things. My partner and I live in Cambridge, and you can often find us looking for the best espresso in town, so I am all ears for any suggestions you might have on that front.
Hi everyone, my name's Rachel and this is my dog Odin. And I have been a midwife here at Mount Auburn Hospital since March of 2018 and a midwife in general since January of 2015. And my fun fact that I always like to share is that before I was a midwife, I was a ski bum and a raft guide and lived in a van down by the river after college, which made my parents very, very happy and proud. So my road to midwifery was a little bit winding, even though I knew that this was always where I wanted to end up. I definitely, was a smelly guide for a while. And now I live in Somerville in an overpriced apartment with a golden retriever, so.
Hi, I'm Clare Storck, and I am one of the midwives here at Mount Auburn. I see patients at the Center for Women, which is our office at the hospital. I've been at this practice almost 10 years and a midwife for that long as well. I was a prenatal and postpartum massage therapist and a doula. Before I became a midwife, I wanted to hang out with pregnant ladies as much as I could before I got through my training. And I also teach childbirth classes. I teach a Tools for Natural Childbirth class, which is on hold right now. And I also am going to be starting to teach mindfulness-based childbirth and parenting here at Mount Auburn, as well as in the community, along with a few of my other colleagues. I've always been fascinated with birth and babies and heard a lot about births while I was living in LA, working as a nanny, and it just, I didn't hear people always express satisfaction and joy about their birthing experiences. And so I wanted to be a part of changing that, and be a part of informed consent and having people advocate for their birth experiences.
Hi, I'm Carrie Thomas. I'm one of the midwives and came to midwifery actually after working as a social worker with immigrants and refugees. And one of the things that a lot of the women I was working with really needed assistance with was navigating healthcare. And I was with 3 different women for their labors and birth and just fell in love with the process and being with women. So went back to school and became a midwife, and here I am. I've been a midwife since 2006, and I've been here at Mount Auburn since 2012 or 13 in several different capacities, and love working with this group of women. One of the things that you might remember me by is when I was in college, I was actually a hurdler, so Division I hurdler. And as a result, I always like to tell people that I still retain some flexibility and can catch your baby in any position that you want to be in. So that's me.
Hello, my name is Jen Williams. I am one of the nurse midwives at Mount Auburn Hospital. I work at the Center for Women, seeing patients once a week, and the rest of my time is on labor and delivery. I originally am from Wisconsin, made a circuitous route to get to Massachusetts, stopping in California, New York for a while, where I went to midwifery school, started my practice there in New York City, and then soon after realized I needed something different and came up to Massachusetts, found Mount Auburn Hospital, and fell in love. I've been here for 12 years now, and really feel like this is home. It blends a beautiful mix of midwifery and with supportive nursing colleagues and physician colleagues. We get to practice pretty autonomously, but have extra support if we need it. I have a lovely husband and a daughter and a son who were both born here at Mount Auburn with the Midwife group. And I love to be outside and hike and camp and run with my dog. Welcome.
Every day, so glad I'm here. You know, so glad I'm here. I'm so glad I'm here. Every day, I'm gonna sing while I'm here. Sing while I'm here. Sing while I'm here. Every day, sing while I'm here. Gonna sing while I'm here. Sing while I'm here. Every day, you know, joy brought me here. Joy brought me here. Joy brought me here. Here today. Joy brought me here. Joy brought me here. Joy brought me here. Here today. And love brought me here. Love brought me here. Love brought me here. Here today.